All right, I'm now going to go over the module system. Um, it's still a work in progress, but I'll go over what we have for right now, and I will be going back to package view for this, and I will clean all this up. So, open up car client, client, core, and that's good for now. So basically, every module, as you know, oh, and I'll open up map for an example. Every module um, implements car module, which extends runnable. Car module has four methods: commands, init, get dependencies, and get instances. Get instances is only used by car core to get all instances of car modules in the project, so don't worry about that. Get dependencies is used for modules to state their needed dependencies to the core. Init is called before any modules are run and is used to um, get those required dependencies from the core. And commands is used to return um, your module's commands to the core. So I'll give you an example of a module. Um, Here, map module. So I'm using map module because I put an example dependency in here. So as you can see in get dependency, I returned a new class array with image module.class, and you could put as many modules here. So if I wanted to rely on, um, I don't know, driving module, I would just do, well, I would do driving module.class, and then I would add dependency on driving module and add requires driving module to the module info. So you can see now we require driving, and then I could use the driving module. However, I'm not going to do that because we don't need the driving module. Um, but yeah, so then in init, which is called before run is ever called from core, you will be passed all of your dependencies in um, the parameters here. So image module, which we have as a private member variable, equals dependency 0, which we know is going to be image module because they're passed in the same order that you request them. And if I were to test this, you could see that this was, in fact, the one image module instance. Now, commands are currently not fully set up yet, um, but when they are, you will be able to pass commands to the core here, and, or I guess return commands to the core here, and the core will interface with the client and execute them. So hopefully that'll be ready in the next day or two. There is a car command interface with an execute method that you can extend for any commands. I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to stick with, so we'll have to wait until I've got the TrackSim client set up um, before I do that. Anyways, um, what else is there? Car start is the car client for right now. It's clearly very basic. It creates a car core and initializes it. Now I'll go over car core. Car core looks a little complex, but it's actually pretty simple. Um, so car core starts, well, it's gets initialized, gets called. It calls car module.get instances, which we went over earlier, just returns all instances of car modules with a service locator. Um, and that is a list, I believe. Yeah, list. Um, then we create an executor service, which we specifically a scheduled thread pool of the size of the modules. So we have a thread pool with one thread per module. And because it's a scheduled thread pool, we can schedule when they execute. So first, before we schedule when they execute, we need to initialize all the modules. So this is how the quote unquote dependency injection works. We get the dependencies from the modules. Um, if they're not null, if we have dependencies, it converts them to a list. And if it's not an empty list, it filters them to only it filters the modules to only a list of the modules that the dependencies contain. So for example, map only has the image module class, so this would filter to only the image module. It then um, turns it back to an array and gives it to the module. This maybe could be done better, but it works. Next, we schedule the service executor. So for each module, we schedule it at a fixed rate of 1000 over frames per second milliseconds. So right now FPS is 30. Likely this will change, but that's what I'm going with for testing, with a 0 delay, yet delay. Then this is really nothing you need to worry about. This is just temporary for um, testing with commands. It's not going to be a while true. Um, but we have this command queue, which is a priority queue, so that we can queue up commands and give them different priorities, say because steering needs to run after speed, but it was submitted before. Um, so yeah, I'll get that working in the next day or so. Um, that is pretty much it. I will just go over the module info.java real quick. So if you, let's say, make a new module from scratch or just don't understand how this works, it's pretty simple. Basically, you have a module construct and you require dependencies. So let's say I require core, and then I use car module from core. So think of this as like an import, basically, but for the entire module. And so for a full module, also, you can provide an implementation of an interface to another module. So this provides car module with map module, and we know that car module can accept this because in car module it says that it uses car module, which means that it's looking for implementations of car module. Secondly, um, if you add exports to your module declaration, that allows other modules to um, see and require your module or whatever package in your module you export. So at the moment, we only have one package per module, but if I had multiple, I could export core.package1, but not core.package2 because that's a private internal package that core uses, for example. Um, that is about it. Actually, one more thing. If you want to add a new dependency to your module, you are going to have to edit the build.gradle as well, unfortunately. So here, image module. Um, let me find a module that's using more than just core. Right. So map module. Map module is using image. So in build.gradle, you have to add implementation project image. So if you look in the image module, for example, it's only using core, implementation project core. But if you were to add a new dependency, remember to add it in the build.gradle or else you're going to get errors. So yeah, that is pretty much it.